Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now we're just going to get straight into today's piece of content. Maybe I'll faff around and waffle a little bit towards the end rather than at the beginning. But we are here today to look at the Wuben G2 flashlight, keychain torch, keychain flashlight. A little bit different to your traditional style torch flashlight. I think there's a bit of a trend at these wider, flatter flashlights, which I actually really like. Although this is designed to predominantly be on a keychain, I don't use it like that. I just keep it in my pocket with me whilst I'm out and about. And it's a different style, different format of a torch that I'm actually starting to prefer for these smaller pocketable flashlights. Now what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around so that we can take a closer look. If you do enjoy this content at any point, even find it mildly amusing, then please feel free to hit that like, subscribe and share. That would be absolutely amazing. Helps me to understand which types of content you guys enjoy watching. And you know, it's only right and polite for me to say if you do choose to like and subscribe, I'd like to thank you at this point as well and welcome you to the Moorlander community. Hey. But for now, let's turn the camera around and take a closer look at the G2. So I thought I'd show it in the box here. It's a reasonably nice presentation that it comes in. So you open this up, you can see here it gives you some information. It shows you that the top is 500 lumens. It uses that OSRAM P9 LED. These are USB type C, which is always good. And there is a 280 milliamp hour battery in here. But on the inside you get a cable so that you can charge this. It's quite a short wee cable, but you know, it does what it needs to do. It also seems a reasonably good quality one as well. I think sometimes you can get some quite flimsy ones, and yeah, that seems quite good. You've got the light in there, and also this little bit here on the end, which we'll have a look at, but that comes I'm trying to do this in the camera now, but that comes pre-installed or attached, I guess you'd call it. And then there is a clip here at the back, and then on the underside there are some instructions. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the clip on. I suppose I'm cheating, I'm fast forwarding to what I'd come to, but the clip on the side, if you can see that there are two recesses here, and then on the inside there are two indents which match up with the two indents on the side here. I have actually been using it with the clip, mainly because it's just really useful to be able to clip this onto bags, even onto your waist belt. You can do it on there whilst walking, as long as it certainly doesn't cover it up. But just to give you some extra information then, generally at this point we look at some of the sizes and the features. It's reasonably small. Now the measurements that I'll give you here are without this clip here on the back. This will add maybe an extra 5 or 6 millimeters to the depth of it, but it's certainly not a large torch. So it comes in at 58.5 millimeters by 27 millimeters, and it's just 9.2 millimeters deep. So if you want that in inches, that's 2.3 inches by 1.06 inches by 0.36 inches. Incredibly small. So the body of this is constructed from a nice lightweight aluminium. All of the rest of the parts on here, it's plastic here on the end and here at this end as well, which does help to bring the weight down, and it only comes in at a tiny 28 grams or 0.99 ounces, and that's with the battery in there. Now weirdly it says on here that is with the battery in there. I'm not too sure if it is a replaceable battery. You would have to take it apart. I guess you'd need to do that by releasing these two screws and being able to take it out. I don't think it says what type of battery in. I'm guessing these sort of lights all have a LiPo battery in there. But going around it, hopefully you can see here on the front, it's got the product name and description, sorry, the company on there. You have this really nice large reflector and the LED that's in there. On the top you have the charging port and the on and off button. Now this is all done through this one button, either with a long press or a double click, which again we'll have a look at. You've got the sides, which are nice plain. If you did want to run this just as a keychain, when you take this off, it has a really nice look to it. I think these are available. There are 3 colours. This is the blue version. So yeah, so that's mainly the features. Now when you push this on, I always tend to think if there's anything that I would change, and I think one of the things that they might need to do is just have a revision of this clip, and that's because these 2 small little indents here on the side, it just uses this plastic to be able to push into there. The reason that I'm pointing this out, I suppose, really is it certainly doesn't feel flimsy, but these 2 small pieces of plastic, I'm sure that they've tested it plenty enough, but I'd just prefer maybe something that was a little bit of a stronger hook on there. No, that's probably the wrong word, but I'd just, if one of those plastic sides were to break, then it wouldn't work at all. Last thing to mention really is this end tail cap. So this is where you can put your keys. So the tail cap is completely free of movement on there, so it's certainly not going to have any issues if it gets into your pockets and you're worried about your keys getting into a strange position. But what you can also do is you can detach this very quickly. So rather than you having to undo that if you did wanted to take it off, this end piece here, what you can do is you can twist this and then it will come off. So there's also a magnet into here as well, which helps it to stay in place. But when you've got it on, you can then lock it on and then turn it around like that, and that will keep in place. If you need to, there is also a magnet built into here, so if you need to attach this to something to keep it safe. I'm just trying to think if I've got anything. I haven't got anything metal out here, have I? Is that metal? Yes. Or is that steel or iron? So you can attach it on there. If you wanted to have this flat against a wall, so maybe to have it so if that's the wall you can have it so that it faces out, the magnet on the end here does a reasonably good job. Now it is just purely in this end. There are no other magnets throughout here, so it does become top heavy. If you wanted to place it against the wall like that, you'll find that it will pivot round here and it'll swing down. But it is still strong enough to hold it flat against a wall as well as against a wall like that. But as I say, all you have to do is just take this off. So if you are going to go for a walk, maybe clip it to your chest. Do you know what? This is because I'm trying to do it through the camera rather than actually looking at it in my hand. But if you're going for a walk and you did want to take this off and maybe clip it to a sternum strap or clip it to your waist, it's very simple to do that, to be able to take your keys off of it. Now I'm just going to go back to this large reflector here. As I've already mentioned, so this is an OSRAM P9 LED. But really what you're getting, when you think of some other flashlights where you have a similar format in this kind of rectangular form, generally the lights are on the end like this. So you have quite small reflectors in there, and it also, they have to make sure that they're changing the LEDs. With this light, really what you're getting is something akin to this style light and reflector in there. And it does a very good job of being able to throw that light in front of you. As you can see here, whilst walking in the dark, it does a very good job of being able to illuminate everything around, but also does a very good job of managing that heat. In the time that I've been using this, just for EDC stuff, finding keys or trying to find things around the house, I've certainly not had any worries or issues with it overheating. Now, as previously mentioned, so on the top here, this is where you find your USB Type-C charging port. Now, this is definitely one thing that I would change about this. So if I just find, let's find a twig. I'm sure there must be a twig. So here is a tiny little twig that will break with ease. If I brush this twig against it, you'll see that it comes up. I'll see if I can get close enough. But the plug on here is maybe a millimeter thick, and it just sits in that recess. So it does stop water from getting in there, but I mean, you just have to brush this ever so slightly for it to open. My suggestion would be, even just by making this a millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters, this plastic form here at the top, if they made that a little bit taller so that it had a more of a positive seat and this plug was a little bit deeper to make it sit in there, I think that would be great. It would certainly not make me worry as much about this coming up and then water getting into there. When you're charging it, there are some lights on it so that you can see how it's charging, whether you know, whether it's full or not. But yeah, that would potentially be something that I would think of changing. The other button is here on the top, and this is your on and off button. So you can do a long press, and it's a single press, or a quick press to turn it off, or you can do a double press, and then that will also turn it on. So the actual the features of it, I'll go through the double press first. So the double press, this puts it onto its turbo mode, which is the full 500 lumens. Actually, let's go back. Let's start again. Let's go through the different modes that we've got on here. So by doing a long press, which is anything that is anything than half a second, this is your 1 lumen or your moonlight mode. From a full charge of battery, you'll get roughly 70 hours worth of light from this. And it does a good job. I've said in so many videos in the past, the moonlight mode is probably the one that I use the most, just mainly because I'm just trying to find things around the house and not disturb people too much. To go between the modes, you do a long press. So if I hold my finger down on this, you'll see that that's just bumped up, and this now goes up to 15 lumens, and you'll get roughly 6 hours worth of light out of this. This again does a very good job of being able to just give you enough light in a room to be able to find things. Whilst walking the dog, this again gives you enough room so that you can see. The 1 lumen moonlight mode, it gives you a good amount of spill, but generally when you're outside, the 15 low mode is probably best. Long press again then bumps that up to 65 lumens. 65 lumens, you'll get roughly an hour and a half out of this before, and again this is on a full battery, but hopefully you'll be able to see here that the flood from this definitely gives you a greater awareness of everything around you, flooding to the left and the right so that you can see more of the leaves and the shrubbery around you whilst walking. Another long press, this then takes you up to 200 lumens, which will give you approximately 35 minutes. Now definitely whilst out and about, this is probably the best for being able to see things. And also with this, I've been able to throw a little bit more of a distance so that I can see the dogs if they're running in a field. Supposedly you can get up to 46 meters worth of light in front of you. I think mainly that is in the 500 lumens, which is the max mode. But you know, again with this one, I think this is on high. This is certainly very good. Now to get into the turbo mode, you can either do that. So while it's off, if you double click it, that's the turbo. Or if you turn it off, I'm pressing too many buttons here. If it's on and then you double click it again, it will also go into the turbo mode. This at a max on a full charge is 500 lumens worth of light, and then after about 30 seconds it then kicks down to 200 lumens. So on a full charge, if you had the 30 seconds in max, which is 500, and then it'll drop down to 200, you get approximately 35 minutes worth of light out of this. And all of these settings, if you then want to turn it off, it's just a single press to be able to turn that off. Last things that I thought I'd show quickly is just some comparisons. So here we have the Rovivon E3, which is roughly the same size and roughly the same weight. It is just a little bit thicker, but with this one, this has that dual I'll see if I can get this off. It has that extra battery that you can put into it. There will be some nice content coming out on this soon, but you know, they are roughly the same size. With this one though, you have the 2 LEDs here at the top. We've then got the the NITECORE Tip SE, which again is probably closer actually compared. Just a little bit wider, but then again has the 2 LEDs here at the top. Last one that I've got on here, which probably, I mean, it's a bit daft to compare these two, but you've also got the NITECORE NITECORE tube. This again has the LED at the end, but it is just a little bit smaller. But I guess if you did have one of these, if you wanted to compare the size, then you'd be able to get a good idea on those on here as well. Now, yeah, you know, I said it at the beginning of this, but I'm definitely becoming more of a fan of these rectangular, flatter style flashlights. I know there are others similar to this where the light kind of comes from the front and protrudes outwards at an angle to the body. But this is certainly the first one that I've had that, you know, does that 90-degree push out. But really, with this huge lens and reflector that you've got on here, this does an incredibly good job of being able to illuminate the surroundings around you. Just walking with this in the dark, it's crazy how much this really does throw out more light onto the ground and your surroundings. And with the lumen count on this as well, you know, that's pretty good. You look at other similar lights that have constrained themselves to 2 LEDs here at the top, that certainly aren't being able to, even with 2 LEDs and reflectors in there, certainly aren't still being able to produce the amount of light and spread that you get from this. So I'm really impressed with this. I'm looking forward to seeing more from these style lights, and it's certainly something that I might try and pick up more of, and then I don't know, once I've got a few more, we can maybe do a comparison. But yeah, it's a great little light. Now, it does have a few things that I'd change about it. I really do think that they need to sort that top port out. Honestly, I mean, you could, yeah, you can brush your feather against that. But other than that, I think that's just a small change that, you know, I'm not going to overgild the lily on that one, but it's a small change that I would make. But if this is kind of version 2, I guess, is there I've not even checked to see if there's a G1. But it's on good footings already, and I'm looking forward to seeing future versions and iterations. Now, I purchased this with my own money, but what I'll do is I'll try and see if I can find some affiliate links. I'll leave them below. It's to no extra cost to you guys. It's just a small kickback that my channel gets, so that I can continue to buy things like this to continue to make this. I've forgotten what I was going to say then, but you know what I mean. This content. Anyway, I'll leave some of my social media links below so that you can follow me on there. Instagram's generally where I'm at. You can see all of the things that I'm testing out. And yeah, hope you're all good. So as usual, for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Shoot, hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, it wouldn't be Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. I hope you're all well. Just gonna get straight into it today. Today's piece of content is something that has kind of chicken. So I think flashlights and torches have really started to change from that. Really, I suppose that they were all. Oh, shit, a brick. Shoot. Well, click didn't work. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Now we're just going to get straight into today's piece of content. Maybe I'll faff around and waffle a little bit towards